Now that you know how to practice the survival float, we can start the introduction to breathhold diving. Okay, I'm going to take you by surprise. On the count of 3, you take your deepest breath and you try to hold it for as long as possible. 1, 2, 3. I know it's unfair, you had no time to prepare, you had no time to relax, your heart rate might still be high, but you just keep holding it for a while and see what you can do. Most first timers stop around 20 seconds. Eventually your body will accumulate so much carbon dioxide that your body will start telling you to breathe. You might also feel contractions in your diaphragm. The diaphragm is one of the muscles that you use to inhale. You can ignore that for a while. Eventually you can make a note of how long you have held your breath, and we call that the unprepared breath hold time. Now if you want to hold our breath longer, there are 2 things we can do. First of all, we can start the breath hold with fresh air in our lungs. Follow my breathing, take a deep breath and blow out all that old air from the depth of your lungs. And we do that twice. And now if you would do a breath hold, you would probably be able to hold it for an extra 10 seconds. The other thing we can do is lowering the amount of carbon dioxide we are producing by calming down our body and reducing our heart rate. We will measure our heart rate now, and after 2 minutes of relaxation we will measure it again. You can find your heart rate on the side of your wrist. You have 2 arteries there, one on the outside and one on the inside. And when you apply a bit of pressure with your fingers, you can feel the blood squirting through. Don't press too hard, because then the blood flow is entirely stopped and you won't feel a pulse. But don't press too softly either, because then the blood is just flowing and you won't feel a squirt. Take your time to find your pulse. Pause the video until you have found it. Okay, once you can find your pulse, once you can feel it, we will count how many beats you have per minute. Actually, we will just count for 15 seconds and then multiply it by 4. When I say start counting. Okay, 1, 2, start. Stop. Now that number, multiply it by 4 to get your heart rate per minute, or your BPM, beats per minute. For example, if you counted 25 beats, 25 times 4 is 100 beats per minute. Your breath hold time is directly related to your heart rate. The slower your heart, the longer you can hold your breath. Now heart rates at rest can vary enormously. They can be between 40 and 120 and you would still be a healthy person. But what is interesting is the heart rate you have in the morning when you wake up. That is probably the lowest heart rate you will have during the day. And that is the heart rate you want to find back when you prepare for a breath hold dive. You want to become so chill and so relaxed that it feels like you just woke up in the morning. Okay, now we are going to relax for 2 minutes. Let's lay down, so it will be very easy for the heart to pump the blood around, since it doesn't have to go up anymore. And while you are laying down, scan your body from your toes to your head. Your knees can be straight. Your feet can fall to the side. Your arms can be next to your body. Straight arteries have less friction than bended arteries. Relax the muscles in your neck and in your back. Sink away in the ground. And then you can close your eyes, because visual processing is also cellular activity that produces carbon dioxide. And then you can empty your mind. dream away or meditate. After 2 minutes, I will ask you again to find your heart rate. After that, we will do the breathe up. And we do another breath hold. But for now, I'll be quiet and I will let you rest for 2 minutes. Okay, stay down, but very slowly find your heart rate. Grab your wrist, find your artery and find your pulse. Okay, 1, 2, start counting. Stop counting. Okay, just make a mental note of that number. We can write it down later. Now follow my breathing. Don't mind the boats. And on the count of 3, you take your deepest breath and you try to hold it for as long as possible. 1, 2, 3. Hold. That's 30 seconds already. 40. 50. 1 minute. One minute 10. 1 minute 20. If you're still holding your breath, I'll keep my watch running. This what we just did we call the dry breath hold. It's actually easier to hold your breath when you're wet. You can Google about the mammalian diver reflex. Once your face gets wet, your body gets ready to dive and you will actually be able to hold your breath longer. Okay, let's check our equipment. To test if a mask fits for your face, don't use the strap. Place it against your face. Make sure there's no hair in between and suck in through the nose. Then listen for air leaks. If you don't hear any leaks, then the mask fits your face. If you're a guy and you hear a little leak from the bottom, then it's probably your moustache. That's not going to flood your mask because it's on the bottom. But if you hear the leak from the sides, then you might want to try another mask. If you want to buy a mask, buy one with soft silicone. Black ones last longer and won't have algae growing into them. However, transparent silicone lets light through and looks better on pictures. The best snorkel for freediving is the J-type, with no valves or locks that can cause leaks, drag or top heaviness. Okay, now that you have a fitting mask, put it on with a strap on the back of your head, just above the ears. And then find out how to tighten it and how to loosen it. And do the hair check. Tilt the mask forward and swipe all the hair out. Now in case water goes in the mask, you can blow it out, even underwater. Seal the top of your mask against your forehead, tilt your head backwards and blow out through the nose. And you should feel the air coming out from the bottom. If it comes out from the side, then lift the mask a little bit while you blow out through the nose. In that way you make it easier for the air to force the water out via the bottom of the mask. When you're placing the snorkel, you want it to be pointing towards the sky. You can use those two little bands to adjust it to make it fit comfortably in your mouth. Also this mouthpiece you can turn. Then place your toes on those knocks without biting, just hold it in place and seal your lips around the mouthpiece. In case a wave rolls into your snorkel, you can blast it out. You'll have to blast quite powerfully. Then afterwards you have to breathe in carefully because there's always a little bit of water left in the snorkel. And when you breathe carefully, it's like slurping on hot tea. And you can blast a second time. So that would look like this. When you don't want to use the mask, hang it around the neck so your hands are free and you cannot lose it in the waves. New masks often fog. It can help to put toothpaste on the glass, then wash it off before the dive. You can also use your spit. Brand new masks often have a layer of silicone that you can burn off with a lighter. When you do that, you have to be careful. Put the flame in the middle of the glass and make sure that you don't go too close to the silicone. You don't want to burn up your new mask. You're now ready to enter shallow water with a flat bottom. Make sure the area is big enough to not accidentally drift away to a deeper area. Practice mask clearing and snorkel blasting. If that goes well, start practicing how to go down by making handstands. To make a handstand in shallow water, you will have to hold your breath. And you will have to throw up your legs above your center of gravity. And both will help you later when you try to dive down. You should only start using your fins once you're comfortable with your mask and snorkel. Give yourself time to get used to the mask and snorkel, even if this takes a few days, that's fine. When getting yourself a pair of fins, the full foot fin will give you the best contact with the foot. The best find is fin that is without socks. It's normal that your toes stick out. Don't walk on fins. You could break them or you could fall. There is no left and right with fins, and yeah, they fit both feet. The best place to put fins on is in chest deep water. It's normally, hold on, and then while you put them on, keep your shoulders under water. Yeah, when your shoulders are under water, you're almost floating, therefore there is very little pressure on your feet. Now even if you would step on a sea urchin or a piece of glass, it would not even penetrate your skin. Now try to lay down facing the bottom. It probably will be blurry there because you have kicked up the bottom a little bit. Now to go forward, scissor kick your legs. Try to keep your knees almost straight. Try not to cycle. Don't cycle the leg, keep them straight. It's okay to practice this lesson alone, but if you're with a buddy, then stay shoulder to shoulder and make a habit to stay together. Don't go faster than your buddy. If your buddy is slower, then let him set the pace. Try some shallow water handstands again and see how long you can keep your balance and how long you can keep your feet up. Now if you want to stand up with fins on, first turn on your back before standing up, because you've got pretty long toes now. Never stand on corals, you would harm them, they would cut you, and you would deserve it. Now let's talk about your ears and about equalization. Once you're comfortable with basic freediving gear, you could try and pull yourself underwater on a weighted rope. And at first, do this in water where you can still stand up. When you do so, you will feel pressure on your ears. Just like you feel pressure on your ears when you're in a car going down a mountain or when you're descending in an airplane. This pressure has to get equalized by closing the nose and blowing against it. This maneuver is called the Valsalva maneuver, after the doctor that invented it. Now every diver has to learn how to equalize, and for every diver it's different. It's normal to have days that you cannot equalize. Then respect your ears, don't go deep, and enjoy your breath holding practice. In general, if you feel pain, you are too deep already. Go up a little bit. So yeah, equalizing is different for everybody, but I will show you 4 tricks that you can try if Valsalva alone does not work. The first one is jaw movements and Valsalva again. The second one is swallowing and Valsalva again. The third one, if one ear is not working, you can hold the bad ear up and Valsalva again. And trick number 4, you can massage under the earlobe towards the cheek and try Valsalva again. If you still can't equalize, then accept it. Don't be frustrated. Just enjoy your breath holding time. You're not being able to equalize should not be the reason to go up. Your reason to go up should be because you want to breathe. And you not being able to equalize should be the reason to not go deeper. Now if after a few days you still can't equalize, then there's one more thing you can try. You can sniff up some salt water through your nose. It would basically do the same as a nasal spray that you can buy from a drugstore. That is also a saltwater solution. The exclusive nasal spray Aquamaris actually consists out of seawater that is nicely bottled and flown in from France. If it is your very first time to do that, it will probably make you cough. It will tickle in your nose like crazy, and you know you have done it the right way when you feel the taste of the salt water going down your throat. It's yummy. And again, try Valsalva and see if that makes a difference. The next thing I like to talk about is how you know when you're ready to go to deeper water. Try this. Be in shallow water and lay down in the survival float. take your mask off, and whenever you need to brake, just stretch your arms above your head to make your legs float up. Now place the mask back on, turn on your belly, then put the snorkel in your mouth and blast it clear. If you have been able to do this without standing up, then you're ready to go open water because you can deal with some mask problems. If you cannot do that yet, then just continue practicing in shallow water until you're really confident doing that skill. We're now going to talk about how to safety each other on practice dives. Pause this video until you have found someone to practice this with while we are still dry. You don't have to safety each other on every dive, but if you're going to push for a longer and deeper dive time, then it's safer to have someone safetying you. First of all, learn to float motionless on the surface. So your heart rate goes down and you have the best breath holding time. When you're ready to dive, signal you, look at me, okay? If your buddy signs okay, then he's promised to look after you from the beginning till the end of your dive. Even if he gets stung by jellies, or when other divers want something from him, he will remain devoted to the diver. If you are the safety diver, keep your hand on the dive line. Even when you can't see the diver anymore, you can feel his movements on the rope. You can practice rope signs and give little double tugs if you want to know if the diver is still awake. Rope tugs should be given back. Or if the diver is not holding line, you can make a grouper call to ask him if he's still awake. It's a sound you make in your throat without blowing out, and under calm conditions it can carry 50 meters. The diver should return the call, meaning, yep, I'm still awake. When the diver is back on the surface, either above or underwater, make eye contact and ask him if he is okay. Then maintain eye contact for 5 counts and again ask if he is okay. Divers can black out on the surface without warning, so make sure to keep eye contact for a while. In the eyes of the diver you can see exactly how he's doing. If you see the eyes close or in any other way suspect that the diver is no longer awake, then immediately rotate him from the shoulders, clear his airway, make sure his snorkel is out and make sure his mouth stays out of the water. To do this, put your palms together, place your palms in his neck and your fingers on his ears. Blackouts happen seldom. If they happen, they are short. Most blacked out divers wake up again between 5 or 10 seconds, but if you would not be there, they would probably drown. About diving down the line. First of all, ask your buddy to safety you. When you use a line to pull yourself down, save yourself some oxygen and don't use your legs while you pull yourself. Just use your arms and relax and rest your body. It probably means your legs will float up and you just let it happen. Every arm span you pull, remember to equalize. It's a good habit to count how many arm spans you have pulled down. When you want to breathe, simply let go of the rope and let yourself float back up to the surface without swim movements. After all, your body has a natural tendency to float. Keep your face in the water, blast the snorkel empty and make eye contact with your buddy. Reply to his OK sign, maintain the eye contact for 5 seconds and reply to his OK. Alright, let's talk about the displacement technique. There is actually a way to clear the snorkel that takes no power at all. It's called the displacement technique, and it only works when the snorkel is upside down, which it is when you're coming up from a dive and you're looking up to the surface. Once you're one fist away from the surface, passively exhale and the snorkel clears without effort. Now swiftly bring your chin back down and your snorkel will be completely empty without needing to blast. At one point it will be handy to measure your arm span, because it can give you an indication of how deep you have been by counting your pulls. This works provided you use your full arm span every time you pull down and provided the dive line goes straight down. Most men have an arm span of around 150 centimeters. That means if they pull 2 times, their downhand should be at 6 meters. Most girls have an arm span around 133 centimeters. That means that when they pull 3 times, they are at 4 meters depth with their lower hands. When you measure your arm span, don't count your fingers because you will need them to hold the rope. Okay, now finally, the duck dive. One of the hardest things to learn is the duck dive. It's how to come down without using a line. First of all, back away from the line by a few meters. Then swim to the line to build up speed. Hook your body at the hips by pointing your head to the bottom. Throw up your legs and make one arm stroke to pull your legs underwater. Now start kicking your legs, and as you swim down, remember to equalize. If you can't equalize, then level out and swim horizontally around the dive line until you want to go up to breeze. And then on your way up, in the last half meter, you can practice the displacement technique. Most divers need about 4 days to optimize their duck dives. Continue practicing handstands in shallow water to practice the throwing up of the legs. In deeper water, you can practice somersaults to complete rotations with the aim to keep your legs centered during the whole turn. A few warnings. Be smart about boat traffic. Propellers can cut heads open. Propellers kill people every year. Be visible to boat traffic. Surface next to your float and talk to local boat captains to let them know that you're there. If you want to bring a camera, don't tie it on your wrist. Tie it around your chest, under your arm, not around your neck. So it's an entanglement hazard. If it gets entangled, it's not on your wrist and it's not around your throat. Alright, this concludes the introduction to freediving. If you have questions, feel free to post them in Freediving Coaches of Asia Facebook group, preferably with pictures of where you are and how the diving is there. And tomorrow's lesson will be rescue and self-help. I'll see you then.